It was a incredible season just based on what we went through this year. Obviously, Mr. Allen passing away before the season starts. Andy getting diagnosed with cancer before the season starts, and then obviously you go through the year. Expectations weren't very high, outside of us internally, and there it goes down. Down the stretch, I get hurt, and things just kind of keep happening throughout the season, but we keep figuring out ways to kind of rally around each other and, kind of build on, what we've been able to establish here and learning how to lean on other people, play for other people. I think it was a pretty incredible year to win, 53 games in the regular season. Feel like we gave some games away in the regular season, which happens every year, and then to compete in the playoffs and then get a chance to play against the Warriors again and basically lead 102 minutes and still not figure out ways to win games down the stretch. I think it was a really good year. It was a challenging year, but I think we learned a lot about ourselves, and I think the community should be proud of what we were able to accomplish, and looking forward to building on that in the future.
What did you learn in this series that just ended?
I mean, you always learn, from losses. I think, going back and watching as the summer progresses and, looking at possessions and breakdowns and, how we were able to compete, for 36, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, but not 48 minutes, just kind of shows you, where we're at and kind of where you need to be, in order to be a championship caliber team. I think we're getting there. We're knocking on the doorstep. But obviously we have some stuff we have to improve upon. But just, playing against a team like that who's, battle-tested, who's, won on the big stage. They know how to execute down the stretch. They know how to turn the switch on. They know when to get stops. You look at how Draymond Green played throughout the series. Hits 2 threes all series, hits the last one, 30 seconds left in the game. That was a big difference in the game, and I think that you can learn a lot from losing to a championship caliber team, a team who's made the finals 5 straight years.
CJ, do you feel any kind of sense of vindication about how there've kind of been calls to blow this team up and trade you after they've got you specifically after they've kind of gotten eliminated in the playoffs early a couple of years in a row, and then for it to, everybody to kind of stick together and then make the Western Conference Finals? Does that kind of feel a little vindicating to you?
To me personally.
Yeah.
For me, I just go do my job, man. I don't really worry about, people are going to say I should be traded, regardless of how I play, just because everybody has their own opinion of you. How I value and think of myself is more important to me than anybody else. And I think a lot of players on this team have the same mindset and, brought that this year, not worried about what people think about us as a team, not worried about expectations, because at the end of the day, people write stories and people play. And some people that write stories have never played, so they never truly understand what we go through, but we do what we sacrifice every day. And I think, obviously we had a pretty good year. I think expectations, are what they were. But to be able to compete in the playoffs, without our starting center, just kind of shows you, our mindset and our mentality and how we've been able to, kind of come together. But I mean, if I would have had a terrible playoff, I know who I am as a person, as a player, so that wouldn't have affected my mentality. I am who I am.
But CJ, does it actually getting there, does that have a function for a team, or does it have a benefit for a team? I mean, I know you have supreme confidence in yourself, but to actually see it happening, does that have some kind of value to it, I guess, or going forward?
Yeah, I definitely think it has value because it shows that we've been able to improve. It shows that, we can put things together, collectively over long periods of time. In order to win in the playoffs, it takes a team. It's not easy. It's not easy to beat, the likes of, an 8 seed or 7 seed all the way down. And as you advance, it gets harder. And it takes more people. It takes better execution. It takes, guys being in great shape, guys being able to think when they're tired, guys being able to execute, having to step up and make the right plays, the right shots, the right passes, defensively the right assignments. And I think we did that at times, but we didn't do it consistently enough. And I think the Warriors did it at times, but they did it at the right time. We would do it, for long stretches. They would just do it for 5 minutes at the right time, the right 5 minutes. And I think that's, comes with experience. Having been there before, we hadn't been there before. And I think, when you get there and you learn from it, you fail or succeed, it gives you a better opportunity to prepare for the next time.
CJ, this is the most games that you guys have played this season. Other teams will rest guys during the year and things like that. But did you kind of get a better idea of maybe how to handle things during the year to make sure you're able to continue on and keep going through this many games?
Yeah, I think it just starts with, learning from each season, how you feel at the end of the season, how you feel in the last game down the stretch, and figuring out ways to take better care of your body. And I've always been big on that stuff, and, paying attention to, my blood testing, making sure I'm eating the right stuff with the chef, and getting the right amount of hours of sleep and all that stuff. But I think the biggest thing for us is, not digging ourselves in holes. Win the games you're supposed to win in the regular season, try to secure home court. And when you get in the playoffs, you take care of business. The more games you play in a series, the more tired you're going to be down the stretch of games. And, whether people want to admit it or not, I think the best teams, like the Warriors, they get out of that series as fast as possible, knowing that now they got 9 days rest to go into the finals. They get out of the last series in 6 games. You know what I mean? They're not, playing 7-game slugfests. And, that's just extra miles on the body that aren't necessary. If you can beat a team, in 4 games or 5 games, I think that's a better scenario for everybody involved, because then you have more time to rest and recover. I think the Milwaukee Bucks have been doing a similar thing. They were 4-0 on the road before they lost to the Raptors the other night. So being able to win games, in a shorter fashion in series, I think that's beneficial.
What's the summer look like for you?
Shit, I don't even know, man. The season just ended, 2020. The season just ended, and I have to go to China. I'm planning my brother's bachelor party. Obviously, I'll be working out and doing the stuff I normally do, taking care of my body. I have to plan a wedding. I should say I have to sit in on meetings on the wedding and listen. And listen to things which I'm trying to put off, but now I have to start it because the season's over. So it'll be another summer of working, trying to figure out ways to improve. Obviously, I'll have to rest a little bit, let some things heal from the season, do more blood testing, figure out, where I'm at, this year compared to last year, and get ready for another season, another tough competitive season in the Western Conference.
One last question, then we're going to wrap it up.
CJ, naturally, the kind of focus turns to the future and what this team will look like.
Mm-hmm.
One of the players who you guys kind of have control over is Al-Farouq Aminu. I know it's not your decision, but if you had to make a case to bring him back, what would that be?
I think Chief is a great locker room guy. He's a guy who does things the right way. We all enjoy being around him. He has a lot of intangibles with his length and his versatility defensively. He's an improved three-point shooter, and I think he showed that he can definitely help this team. But like you said before, I am number 3 for the Blazers. I play shooting guard. Occasionally I play point guard, and I have not given it a decision-making role. So, hopefully, you like to see everybody come back, but that's not possible. There's going to be changes. There's always changes, and there's always, turnaround, on a roster. And I trust our staff and our organization will do the right thing and make the right decisions as they have in the past.
Okay.
Enjoy y'all summer.
See you.